Back here at Gillette, 40 degrees, rain in the forecast. It's been raining all morning as we send it down to the field before kickoff. Here's Evan Washburn.
Well, Lions, since joining the team late last week, Michael Floyd will make his debut, the wide receiver for the Patriots. Floyd's been in the forefront of news since being released by the Arizona Cardinals after a DUI charge on December 12th. As for his workload in his debut, it's our understanding that the team has given him a set of plays that he feels comfortable with, put him in spots that he can be successful and play fast. As for how many plays that is, we'll have to wait and see. Back up to you guys. Stay dry, by the way.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Evan. He's got a new hat.
Well, he's got to protect that lettuce.
No
Keep
doubt.
the lettuce dry.
Floyd, the number 13 pick in the 2012 draft, will make his Patriots debut. Pats won the toss. They have deferred. The return man is Nick Marshall. After the Gostkowski kick, Marshall is out of bounds, and the Jets will open up. Coming off that 34-13 loss to Miami, they've dropped 5 of their last 6 games, and Bryce Petty, he has shown flashes for the Jets, but he is learning on the job, Dan.
Yeah, he told us yesterday that he expects the Pats defense to try to confuse him with various zone defense, make him throw in at some tight windows. He knows that his desire to make a big play may not be wise. He's got to eliminate the big mistake.
We asked him about the hit from Sue and Wake. He said, I don't even have a bruise. He got an adjustment early in the week, and ever since that point, he said he's felt great. Handoff to Powell, getting the first carry. Powell, no gain on the play. Powell slipping through just to get back to the line of scrimmage, hit by Eric Rowe. Starting offense for the Jets. They have had to remake this offensive line. 9th different combination that they've played with. Qualley getting the start at right guard. Brian Winters is done for the season. Powell in for the injured Matt Forte. Forte's been dealing with a knee injury, but they tacked on a shoulder injury this week on the injury report, so Forte sitting this one out. This was a record-setting offense a year ago. Best in Jets history. Not the case this year. They haven't been able to score consistently. Powell is hit immediately. 2-yard pickup brought down by Alan Branch. Defensively for New England, up front, Vincent Valentine getting a chance. Malcolm Brown, it was announced, would not be in the starting lineup. Kyle Van Noy is in there. Dante Hightower is out. Knee injury for Hightower. Missed a couple of games earlier this season. And Devin McCourty going to the Pro Bowl for the 2nd time in his 7-year career. 3rd and 8. Brandon Marshall has been limited the last couple of weeks with Petty in there at quarterback. Patriots pin their ears back. Petty in trouble, and he's down, trying to wrap around, but Chris Long got his body in the pocket, and it goes down as a sack for New England.
Well, with long yardage, Petty has to hold the ball too long here. He does not get the ball out to his first receiver, and then it's going to trip here as Chris Long puts the pressure on, and we'll get credit for that sack.
A loss of 7 on the play. Lachlan Edwards had a punt block last week, returned for a touchdown against Miami. Edelman, the return man, he averages 10.3 yards per return. Line drive, floats into the hands of Edelman from the 39. Edelman cuts to the outside, and he's pushed on the perimeter, just short of midfield. 45-yard punt, 8-yard return. David Harris on special teams makes the play for New York. Tom Brady opens up with outstanding field position. Last week missed on his first 6 passes against Denver, then recovered, finished 16 of 32 for 188 yards, but no touchdowns and no picks against the Broncos in that 16-3 New England win.
And when you talk about the 39-year-old Brady, you always talk about numbers. How about this one? He's beaten the Jets 22 of the 28 times he's faced them.
So New England opens up 1st and 10 at its own 47-yard line. 8 straight division titles, an NFL record. Handed off to Dion Lewis, coming off his best game as a pro. 2-yard pickup for Lewis.
And one of the things that Brady talked to us about is that, you know, in order to continue that type of dominance, the Pats must start quickly, and this good field position will help them do that. Patriots want to discourage the Jets and make them start thinking about their off-season plans instead of having this monumental upset perhaps today at Gillette.
Well, he mentioned in the last meeting that because they got off to the slow start, it gave the Jets hope. Eventually, Patriots won the game, but
yeah, it was a battle.
Brady didn't think that would happen again today. Brady over the middle makes the connection to Mitchell for the first down. A sliding grab to the 35. 16-yard hookup, and the Patriots are on the move.
30 catches now in the year for the rookie out of Georgia. Screen with good coverage there, but just a perfect throw by Brady. Leads it perfectly, puts it down low away from the defender, and the Pats got their first down of the day.
Mitchell had 2 touchdowns in the first meeting. Actually burned future Hall of Famer Darrelle Revis a couple times back in November. Now it's Blunt. Wow, big hit. And it's Richardson. No gain on the play. Sheldon Richardson. In fact, a loss of 1 as Blunt took a shot.
This is a guy that running with the ball that weighs 250, but the left arm of Richardson right around the throat there, avoiding the face mask and the horse collar tackle, and drops Blunt for a 1-yard loss.
A clothesline from Sheldon Richardson. Blunt heads to the sideline. James White is in. He sets up as a receiver. Brady operates out of the gun on 2nd and 11. Protection is there. Brady, a dart underneath Julian Edelman. That's another catch for Edelman. 86 on the year. He's over 870 yards receiving. Only 2 touchdowns this year for Julian Edelman.
And a dart is a great way of describing a lot of those passes to Edelman from Brady. Gets it out quick, right off the shoulder, and right on target again.
Asked Bill Belichick about the state of his team. He said the Pats are so tough physically and mentally, and it really reveals itself on the road. 7-0 away from Gillette. 3rd and 3. Brady looks. Hits the open man. It's Martellus Bennett for the first down. New set of downs for New England. That's 14 yards. Brady to Bennett. 51st catch of the year for Bennett.
Well, this offensive line does a great job. Brady is trying to get out of the pocket, realizes that there's no pressure, and finally looking straight down the field to number 88. And again, right on target, and another first down. That offensive line gave Brady about 4.5 seconds that time.
And a quick snap. LeGarrette Blunt fights his way for 3 yards on the play. Leonard Williams in on that stop. Blunt over 1,000 yards for the 2nd time in his career, and he has set a New England Patriots record for rushing touchdowns, 15, topping the previous mark held by Curtis Martin, who's a former Patriot and former Jet. Todd Bowles questions as to whether or not he would even be here, but he's on the sidelines coaching his team. 2nd and 7 for New England. It's Blunt again. And nothing there. Gang tackle from the Jets. Half a yard for Blunt on the spot. New England Patriots, Marcus Cannon. What a job he did last week against Von Miller. He got some help from the fullback James Devlin as well. And backs and receivers, Malcolm Mitchell. The maturity. Josh McDaniel stressing that Mitchell was ready to be a pro based on the way he acts like a professional in meetings and practice, in the games, and he's playing his best football in the month of December. Rare for a rookie. Brady on 3rd and 6. Forced to throw it away. Jets defense holds up on 3rd down. Brady didn't have a choice. Everybody was covered.
Well, they're covered because the Jets decided to rush just 3 at Brady and drop 8 and really flood the field with defenders. Edelman goes out to the flat. He's wide open in the corner of the end zone, but Brady doesn't see him, which is a rare missed opportunity for Brady and the Patriots.
So it is Gostkowski coming out for short field goal, 29 yards. Had some problems during the season. He has corrected those. Went 3 for 3 last week in that victory over Denver. And this one is straight through to put New England in front, 3-0. 9 plays, 42 yards for the Patriots offense. They take the lead in the opening quarter. Patriots are 5-2 at home, losses to Buffalo and Seattle. They've got a 3-0 lead on the New York Jets. New England trying to lock up the #1 seed in the AFC. Nick Marshall is the return man. Continues to rain here in Foxborough. The kickoff from Gostkowski, returnable from the 2 for Marshall. Marshall tripped up as he takes it just across the 20-yard line. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. The 2017 Kia Sorento. Learn more at kia.com. Hanes with fresh IQ advanced odor protection technology. And by Bud Light. Strike gold and you could win Super Bowl tickets for life. Just short of the 21-yard line. Second possession of the day for the Jets. Petty to throw it. Somehow splits defenders but runs into a crowd. Bryce Petty with Alan Branch there to greet him. It's another sack for the New England D.
And on a 3-step drop, you got to either throw it or throw it away. You have no choice to run because the defensive line is being held right at the line of scrimmage. So when you may escape 1 or 2, there's 2 or 3 more that will get you. Right now, he's got to cut it loose. If he doesn't like what he sees, just sail it out of bounds and save that yardage.
Dan, we asked Bryce Petty, playing in rain, you comfortable with it? He said, well, I've never really played a game in the rain.
Good luck.
He said it drizzled a bit at Oklahoma State once before the game. That was the closest to it, and it just showed on that throw. Could not connect with Bilal Powell. This is a Texas guy, not accustomed to poor weather conditions, and now facing a 3rd and 11 against the team that's given up the fewest points in the NFL this season.
That time he did have Powell isolated on strong safety, Patrick Chung. And for some reason trying to hang on to that ball maybe and bring it back to his hand. Went right down into the turf.
Petty grew up 30 minutes south of Dallas in Midlothian, Texas, the cement capital of the state of Texas. Petty's pass knocked up in the air, intercepted by Butler. Robbie Anderson, the intended receiver. And the Patriots have their first turnover. Yet another giveaway by the New York Jets.
Yeah, 7th pick of the year thrown by Petty. There's Butler, number 21, stride for stride. It's a back shoulder throw that's thrown too far to the inside. And Butler staying with that, picks up his 3rd pick of the season. And Petty, who felt the advantage that the Jets had, was throwing to their wide receivers on the outside. Did not have a good grip on that ball as it came out almost end over end.
Yeah, that was a wobbler from Petty. The Jets are now -20 in turnover differential. That's the worst in the NFL. Patriots take over in New York territory at the 47-yard line. Single setback is Blunt. Brady to throw it. Brady hooks a pass long. Battle along the sideline. It's hauled in by Michael Floyd, but he was out of bounds. So they get Floyd involved early. The former Arizona Cardinal who was arrested for DUI in Scottsdale on December the 12th. He is facing 6 charges from that arrest.
A great coverage by Justin Burris, the rookie out of North Carolina State, stride for stride, and then forcing Floyd to the sideline. So when he came down, he could only get 1 foot in.
A give to Dion Lewis. Lewis breaking a tackle and hit from the side by Sheldon Richardson. 6-yard gain. Rontez Miles also in there. Defensively for the Jets, Leonard Williams leading the Jets in sacks this season, playing inside, playing outside. Linebackers, Sheldon Richardson, another hybrid. You'll see him lined up all over for New York. And in the secondary, Rontez Miles in for the injured Marcus Gilchrist. The Jets have 14 players on injured reserve. They've used a league-high 70 players this season. 3rd and 4 for the Patriots. Shotgun for Brady. Protection is there. Brady zings it downfield. One-handed grab by Hogan, who snares it for the first down. 21 yards on the pass and catch.
You just can't give Tom Brady this much time to find his receivers. Hogan is about 30 yards down the field. Brady looks right, comes back left, comes back to Hogan. Another 4.5 seconds to find a receiver way down the field. Beautiful catch in stride by Hogan.
Chris Hogan, 34 catches on the season. Average is really impressive, over 18 yards per grab. Dion Lewis hit down low. Rontez Miles in on that stop for New York. We're down to 5:38 to play in the first quarter.
Good block here by Tooney, but watch Lewis, once he gets into the hole, will make the first tackler miss. Right here, 45 comes up. That's Rontez Miles. Does not get a square shot on Lewis.
And that's impressed McDaniels, the offensive coordinator, the most. His quickness in the hole, very smart, is what he called Dion Lewis. You can hand him the ball 15 or 20 times. Also could have a major role in the passing game. Brady, toss it underneath. Low throw handled by Mitchell. And a modest gain for New England, 5 yards, but it is enough for the first down.
That's one of the characteristics of Tom Brady. When he's off target, he misses low. And it's because he's a short strider in the pocket. And for Josh McDaniels, he doesn't mind that at all because it's hard to intercept a low throw.
That was an issue last week as Denver threw off the timing of Tom Brady. That internal clock is going off when you have those pass rushers.
Yeah, Miller and Ware coming from both sides.
First and goal, New England knocking on the door here. They already have a 3-0 lead. Give it to Blunt. LeGarrette Blunt has been so lethal in these situations, goal-to-go situations. It's a 3-yard pickup for Blunt, who's a battering ram at 6 foot, 250 pounds. Leonard Williams will get credit for the tackle.
The Jets have done a good job all year stopping the run, allowing just 99 yards per game on the ground. They'll be tested today, though, with these three running backs of the Patriots, especially down here where Blunt is so effective.
Now the fullback is in. Devlin in front of Blunt. Second and goal. It's Blunt. Stutter step move allows the Jets to converge, led by Sheldon Richardson. Questions as to whether or not Richardson would be punished for the social media antics from a week ago on Snapchat before the game. Todd Bowles indicated this week that he would deal with it. But we've seen Richardson out there right from the start defensively for the Jets. So now a third and goal for New England. Richardson currently on the sideline for New York. James White will flank Brady. Patriots trying to add to the lead. Motion man is Hogan. Brady fires. End zone. It's caught by Bennett. Touchdown, New England. Tom Brady with a strike to the back of the end zone to his big target.
And again, no pressure at all on Brady. Watch the footwork of a guy who weighs 275 pounds. Left foot down, right field dots the I. Brady looking for the big guy the whole way. At 6'6", you got to throw it up high over the shorter defensive back Miles.
So Martellus Bennett has got his 6th touchdown of the season, one of the most popular players in this New England locker room because of his personality, known as Marty. Bennett going to the playoffs as a member of the Patriots. Chris Long going to the playoffs. These are new experiences, not in New England, but for those guys. Robert Kraft and the New England Patriots rolling along in Foxborough. It's 10-0 Pats. 8 plays, 47 yards, and it culminates in the Brady to Bennett 5-yard touchdown catch. Tom Brady said that he's got so much confidence in Bennett. Tough guy, he grinds it out. He's not 100% physically, and the rest of the guys notice that, his hard work each and every day. New Year's Day on CBS. When someone is kidnapped, this is the team that brings them back alive. Catch the series premiere of the new thriller, Ransom, Sunday, January 1st after 60 minutes, only CBS. Bryce Petty. Tough start for the Jets offense. Petty is yet to complete a pass. The Jets are yet to get a first down. Open up from the 25-yard line. Give it to Powell. Stutter step. Powell powers through across the 30 for a 6-yard gain in the rain. NFL Today update. We're going to New York. JB and Bart Scott.
Ian, talk about effort. Jai running tough as he takes it in 2 yards. Matt Moore, 9-play, 72-yard drive. Miami up 7-0.
A win and a Denver loss tomorrow night puts the Dolphins into the postseason. Back to Ian Eagle.
An amazing story for the Miami Dolphins guys and Adam Gase, his team on the brink of making the postseason. Powell stumbles for the first down out to the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 9 for Powell.
Let's go back to the touchdown and watch the fancy footwork here of Bennett. Great move here on Rontez Miles. Talked about his control after the catch, but it was that move, faking the corner route, breaking back to the post, and getting the score.
So the Jets move the chains with 2 minutes to go here in the first. They have 9 total yards. They've lost 7 straight regular season games here at Gillette. Give it to Powell again. Cuts it to the outside. Oh, it makes a man miss with a beautiful fake. He got around Kyle Van Noy and turns it into a 5-yard pickup.
It goes right over the top. Van Noy goes, and then Powell taking the low road before Roberts can make the tackle. But 3 positive runs in a row now for Powell.
Van Noy a pickup from Detroit. And each week we see more on his plate. They liked him coming out of BYU. And off to Powell, runs into a wall. Forward progress will get him a gain of 1. Rob Ninkovich completely ready for that running play.
Yeah, he just took on the first-year tight end Eric Tomlinson and stuffed him at the line of scrimmage, shed him, and then made the tackle, bringing up another 3rd down. Petty has not thrown the ball on this drive.
Matt Patricia, he stresses to his team post-Thanksgiving football. That's really when the year starts for the New England Patriots.
Yeah, it's important to refocus and get down to playoff time, and the Patriots do that better than anybody.
3rd and 4. Petty's throw is low, and it would have been short of a first down. Looking for Enunwa. Shea McClellan put the heat on Bryce Petty, and it's 4th down for New York.
Yeah, Petty's having a tough time getting the ball to his first read. Not comfortable cutting it loose just yet and avoiding the sack that time, but again, a 4th down for the Jets.
And the punter, Aussie Lachlan Edwards, will kick it to Julian Edelman, who's standing at the New England 8. Bit of a rush. Edwards gets it off cleanly. It rolls and sits. They'll mark it down at the 14 after the 41-yard punt by Edwards. What's at stake here for the New England Patriots? Number 1 in the AFC. Last year they couldn't get it done for home field advantage. Different approach this season. NFL on CBS is now on CBS All Access. Stream your local games live. Go to cbs.com/NFL now to try it for free. Merry Christmas, everybody. No snow, but a whole lot of rain in Foxborough as the Patriots have a 10-0 lead on the New York Jets. Pats are 12-2. Jets are 4-10. On a handoff to Dion Lewis. The speed of Lewis finds the running lane and turns it into a 5-yard pickup, hit by linebacker David Harris on the play. As time will tick away in this opening quarter at Gillette. End of the first quarter, New England's got a 10-0 advantage on the New York Jets. Welcome back to Foxborough. After these messages, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Patriots are in the driver's seat in the AFC playoff picture at 12-2. Oakland behind them at 11-3. Miami's got the lead on Buffalo right now, and Jacksonville on top of Tennessee. Dion Lewis out to the perimeter, and he's swung down by Rontez Miles on the play. Miles has been an outstanding special teams performer for the Jets over the last couple of years, but seeing action on defense because of all the injuries that the Jets have dealt with The latest being Marcus Gilchrist. Just 7 interceptions for this Jets defense. Last season they had 18, which was the 5th most in the NFL.
48's down, 52's down.
Patriots face a 3rd and 5. We're just underway in the second quarter here in Foxborough.
52, read it.
Brady, 23 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions this season. Rush up the middle from Pryor. Brady throws it. Incomplete. Edelman was looking for a flag down the sideline and having some words along that sideline with members of the Jets staff.
Great job by Calvin Pryor on that blitz. Edelman, he's feisty. He likes to converse with his opponent. Nothing wrong with that.
So we'll see Ryan Allen for the first time today. Nick Marshall getting the opportunity in both kickoff returns and punt returns. The Jets are dead last in the NFL in punt return average. Sailing kick brings Marshall to the 29. That's one-man miss and veers out of bounds. He was angled that way after the 51-yard punt. Jonathan Jones on special teams makes the play. The Jets trailing 10-0 in New England. Petty having a tough time learning to fly here in Foxborough. He is 0 of 3 throwing the football with a pick off a deflection. Hand off. Ball pops free, and it's recovered by Malcolm Butler. Landon Roberts smacked it out of there as Kyrie Robinson coughed it up and Bryce Petty is down.
Big hit by Roberts as he met. Look at this shot right here. Ball, perfect tackle right on the ball. And there's Butler with his second takeaway. Petty getting in on the tackle. Saves the touchdown.
And Petty was grabbing his left arm. Kyrie Robinson does not have a carry this season. He was trying to bounce back from a lower leg injury that he suffered in the final preseason game against the Eagles. And Bryce Petty walking gingerly along that Jets sideline. Christian Hackenberg is not active. Ryan Fitzpatrick would once again be the next man up for the Jets.
51, solid.
Patriots take over inside the New York 30-yard line. Early stages, second quarter. Brady slings it to the outside. Ball popped free, and it's ruled incomplete. Chris Hogan. Buster screen over there defensively for New York.
You got to worry about Petty's ribs, obviously, but this appears to be an arm injury as he fell on his left arm and immediately grabbed it. May have saved a touchdown with this tackle.
Now they're checking on Bryce Petty. This has been a rough 7-day period for Petty. Remember, the Jets played last Saturday. Ryan Fitzpatrick warming up along the sideline for New York. Dion Lewis is stacked up just short of the 25-yard line by Leonard Williams. 2-yard pickup on the play.
Yeah, just 6 days ago, he takes this shot from Ndamukong Suh and Cameron Wake.
Is that as vicious a quarterback hit you've seen at this level in a long time?
When I first saw it, it reminded me of the Bledsoe hit on the sideline. I thought that perhaps he might have some problems with his intestines or his organs as Bledsoe did.
That was Mo Lewis of the Jets who put the hit on Bledsoe and opened the door for Tom Brady. Catch made by Edelman, stands over screen after the grab. It covers 9 yards and a first down for New England.
Well, Edelman working out of the slot against screen. A sharp route by Edelman, really his trademark. He runs square routes, and that cuts down the distance that the defensive back has to make a play on the ball.
On first down for New England, Blunt in the backfield, Bennett in motion. Give it to Blunt. LeGarrette Blunt busting through. And he's hit by Rontez Miles. Blunt was looking for the end zone as we check in with Evan Washburn on the sidelines.
Well, guys, the latest with Bryce Petty is he is making his way to the Jets locker room. A lot of time spent with team doctors working on that left shoulder, testing the strength of it. He has it in sort of a sling wing motion right now, again, heading towards the locker room for further evaluation. Once I have something official, I'll let you know, but not good right now.
All right, Evan. First and goal. Brady off play action. Connects with Devlin, but he is quickly brought down on the play by Darren Lee, the rookie out of Ohio State. So no gain for James Devlin, fourth-year fullback from Brown, and a former defensive lineman collegiately. There is Petty heading to the locker room for New York. 9 lives for Ryan Fitzpatrick at the quarterback position.
9 lives and just about as many teams he's played for, too.
Second and goal for the Pats. Lewis will shift to the backfield.
Who's your mind? 45. Right here.
Patriots trying to build on this lead. It's 10-0. Brady offline, trying to hit Hogan in a matchup with the rookie Justin Burris, who had his first career pick last week in the loss to Miami.
That's 2 good plays here in the first half for Justin Burris. One was on Michael Floyd down the sidelines. This time he takes away the slant route, does not make contact with Hogan, and denies Hogan a touchdown.
Third and goal for the Patriots. Brady found Bennett earlier for the first touchdown of the day.
Where? Over here.
Hogan in motion. Brady locks in. Rifles it. Knocked away. Broken up again by Burris. Julian Edelman, the intended target.
Just tremendous coverage by Burris. Doesn't go for the fake on the slant. A lot of contact there that the fans are seeing on the replay screen. Officials obviously don't see it. Burris using his helmet to get between the hands of Edelman to deny that touchdown reception.
Burris was a high school wide receiver and then a 3-year starter in the secondary at NC State. This is a 22-yard field goal for Gostkowski. And he nails it. Patriots now in front 13-0 with 11:13 to play in the first half. Ryan Fitzpatrick getting ready to check in. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days. Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. Amazon Prime. Get free 2-day shipping on millions of items. And by Verizon. It's always a great gift on Verizon. Second quarter action here at Gillette Stadium. The rain has stopped for the most part. And New England has a 13-0 lead on the New York Jets. Bryce Petty dealing with what appears to be a left shoulder injury. Kickoff from Gostkowski. Marshall, the return man. And nothing there. Marshall gets it just across the 20-yard line as he's brought down by Ebner on special teams. No Matthew Slater. He's out with a foot injury. So Slater, the 6-time Pro Bowler, sitting this one out. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, now in his 12th year in the NFL, 10 starts for the Jets this season. A career year last season. That got him the 1-year, $12 million deal. But it was not an easy negotiation. And it felt like a forced marriage in many ways. Fitzpatrick didn't have options, and the Jets didn't feel like they had options. They got it done just at the start of training camp. Fitzpatrick on first down. Dump off to Powell. Zigzagged his way for a gain of 5. Brought down by Trey Flowers, and that's the first completion by a Jet quarterback here this afternoon. The quarterback carousel, Fitzpatrick. Team is 2-8 with him as the starter. Geno Smith got the 1 start against Baltimore, but didn't play in the second half. Was placed on IR because of the knee injury. Bryce Petty, 1-2 as a starter, and Christian Hackenberg has not been active yet this season. In fact, he's not active today. Give it to Powell. Bilal Powell, terrific run, finishes it off with 13 yards and a hit by Devin McCourty.
Well, key block here by Austin Seferian-Jenkins as he comes around to act as almost a pulling guard. He gets a kick out there. That allows Powell to get to that second level where McCourty brings him down with some effort after 13 yards.
Line of scrimmage is now the 39 for New York. Enunwa in motion. Out of the pistol. It's Powell. Bilal Powell, as if he was shot out of a cannon. Hit by Patrick Chung. Every time Powell touches the ball, there's a chance something good will happen. That's the kind of season he's had. And you raised the question at the top of the show. Why didn't he see more touches throughout the season? They did sign Matt Forte during the offseason. They gave Powell a new contract. Similar deals, 3 years, $11.25 million for Powell, 3 years, $12 million for Forte. Came over as a free agent from Chicago. He's never been seen as the number one back for the Jets. Nothing there for Powell. 2-yard pickup, running into the line, hit by Flowers. JB, Bart Scott in New York.
I and Mr. Fouts will appreciate these numbers for Mariota.
Mariota's 33 touchdowns and no interceptions in the red zone. Add one to the list. Rashad Matthews for the 3-yard score. Jacksonville up 7-10.
Impressive numbers by the second-year guy in the red zone. Back to Ian Eagle.
Insane.
And tremendous chemistry between Mariota and Matthews, who came over from Miami. Those two have really clicked this season.
Yeah, and Mariota won the Heisman Trophy at the University of Oregon. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. That's another mention for the Ducks. Fitzpatrick on time to Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
But, you know, in getting back to Bilal Powell and the way that he's been able to run the last couple of weeks, take a look at this catch here. Seferian-Jenkins going down low, and Fitzpatrick has added a spark now to the Jets offense. But Powell's a perfect type of runner for an offensive line that has had so many changes, because they're not going to be able to hold their blocks and have the same chemistry. So he hits the hole quickly, gets to that second level, and he's always seems to be going full speed.
He did limp off on his previous snap, and here's Kyrie Robinson, who brings a punishing running style. He got the ball not free on his first carry of the season. A fumble recovered by New England. He has that one for a 10-yard pickup for the Jets, hit by Kyle Van Noy on the play. Yeah, how about the Hackenberg situation, Dan? Because as a rookie, you played. You weren't the starter, but you did step in as the starter. Did you benefit even in a losing situation in San Diego?
Absolutely. There's only one way to learn, and that's by playing. There's so many situations that you have to go through as a young quarterback, and the experience you get as a player far outweighs anything you can do watching from the sidelines.
Fitzpatrick to run it. Looking for an angle, puts his helmet down, and met by Logan Ryan. So this redshirt season for Christian Hackenberg, you're not a huge fan of that?
Well, I know he had a disastrous fourth preseason game where it looked like he couldn't complete any pass, but at some point, and this is a perfect time, I think, especially when you've got a starting quarterback in Petty who's injured already, playing tough through a rib injury, and really your team's not going anywhere. It's a perfect time to give Hackenberger a shot to see what he can do, even though it's against the great Patriot defense.
2nd and 7. Christian Hackenberg is inactive once again. Kyrie Robinson working to the outside for a 1-yard pickup. Devin McCourty with a tackle. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, Bilal Powell has made his way back onto the field. The area of concern is his left leg. Came over to the side earlier in this drive, worked with athletic trainers, really trying to work it out. Again, that left leg, but he is back in there. We just have to keep an eye on it.
Bilal Powell getting the start for the injured Matt Forte. And we'll see how Powell is moving as he sets up as a receiver. This is a 3rd and 6. First scoring threat of the day by the Jets with 6 minutes to go in the first half. Fitzpatrick on 3rd down. Incomplete. He tried to lay it in there for Seferian-Jenkins. Patrick Chung sliding over to make the play defensively for the Pats.
Now, this is a perfect throw by Ryan Fitzpatrick. Seferian-Jenkins gets inside of Chung, the ball right to the body and right through his hands.
Just no production from the tight end position for the Jets last season and this season.
And every team in the NFL is searching for a tight end. A difference maker, an obvious matchup problem. Jets just don't have that.
Nick Folk. This one angles, no good. On a 34-yard field goal, scoring opportunity goes by the wayside. Todd Bowles watching it from the sideline. The Jets come up empty by that much. Miscues for the Jets. They've allowed a couple of sacks. Their starting quarterback has been knocked out of the game, although he's listed as questionable to return with a left shoulder injury. 2 turnovers, a missed field goal, and New England's got a 13-0 lead on New York. Line of scrimmage is the 24. Fake it. Brady sidesteps, throws, and nobody home as Sheldon Richardson had a beat on the quarterback. Coming up Tuesday on CBS, celebrate the best of the best with your favorite stars on one stage for one spectacular event. The Kennedy Center Honors, that's Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. Referee today is one of the best of the best, Gene Steratore. We have not heard from him yet. No penalties. Versatile. Also works college basketball.
Are you jinxing him?
No. You thought that was an announcer jinx on the ref?
I do.
Does that even exist?
We'll find out.
Swing pass, Dion Lewis. Ridden down by Darren Lee, 4.5-yard pickup. Well, Gene's got to get a little bit of camera time. He's not going to turn the microphone on or throw a flag.
I'm not complaining.
I didn't sense that you were. So it sets up third down. 3rd and 5 now for the Pats. Total yards, 124 for New England, 74 for the Jets. We come up on 5 minutes to play in this second quarter. James White in, flanks Brady. They're number 4 in total offense, number 6 in scoring. Brady off his back foot. Drop ball! James White had a step on the defender, Rontez Miles.
Well, White has 53 catches on the year. 54 would have been a huge play, but he brought his hands in too quickly, misjudging that perfect pass from Brady.
Brady now 9 of 17, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Allen punting to Marshall. Marshall backpedals from the 19. Hit right away. He could not break away from Jonathan Jones on special teams. 51-yard punt. Jets get the football back. They're down 13-0 in New England. Patriots owner Robert Kraft, team president Jonathan Kraft, 16 division titles since the Krafts bought the team in 1994. They've become a model franchise. Stability at head coach and at quarterback. Pretty good combination for winning. Fitzpatrick on first down. Up in the air. Intercepted. What a play by Eric Rowe. Intended target, Brandon Marshall. And it's turnover number 3 for New York.
Now the Jet receivers aren't getting any separation at all. Rowe is stride for stride with Marshall. High points the ball and gives the Patriots excellent field position once again. Check out the interception by Eric Rowe. Perfect coverage here, but Ryan Fitzpatrick can't throw that ball because Brandon Marshall is not open. You can't hope that a guy will make a catch. You got to throw it to a guy that gets open. Marshall couldn't do it that time.
Lewis breaks free of the first man, keeps the legs churning, and then stacked up Darren Lee among the crowd there for New York. That's Rowe's second career interception. His first came against the Jets last season. And the interceptions piling up for Jets QBs this year, combining all 3 that have started. Fitzpatrick now with 16, Petty with 7, Geno Smith had 1.
34 giveaways by the Jets offense this season. Atrocious.
It's now minus 22 in turnover differential. 2nd and 11 for Brady and the Pats. Steps up, Brady downfield to Julian Edelman. Catch and run by Edelman as he gets hit down low by Miles. 35 yards on the BB from Brady.
That's his longest reception of the season for Edelman. And again, the pass protection against a three-man rush. Brady can step up, open throwing lane, and a wide open receiver deep down the sideline.
New set of downs for New England. LeGarrette Blount slowed down on the play by Richardson and held to a 2-yard gain on the ground.
But the time that Brady's having to throw in this first half, he was hurried one time when Sheldon Richardson forced him into an incompletion. But since that and before that, it was just 3, 4, 5 seconds to find receivers.
Think back to last season. They had the late season letdown, had a chance to get the number 1 seed, couldn't get it done over the final 2 weeks of the regular season. They did not want lightning to strike twice. They're well aware of the sense of urgency here today. Brady, touchdown! Matt Lengel, the first catch of his career, and it's from Tom Brady. A memory forever out of Eastern Kentucky.
Merry Christmas, Matt Lengel. Good route to the post. Tight coverage by Burris, but Lengel hangs on to this bullet from Brady. But look, there's nobody around Brady.
He was on Cincinnati's practice squad, and now he's catching touchdowns in games from Tom Brady.
He can't wipe the smile off his face either.
Extra point from Gostkowski to make it 20-0 New England. He's got it. 2:40 to play in the first half from Foxborough. It is all Patriots taking advantage of Jets turnovers, turning them into points. Brady to Lengel. Who? Yes, that Matt Lengel. Matt Lengel's teammates clearly enjoying the moment along with him. 4 plays, 54 yards, the 18-yard touchdown pass. Brady to Lengel. It took just over 2 minutes for the Patriots to strike again.
So no Gronkowski, but Bennett from the tight end position in the end zone, and now Matt Lengel. His first catch.
He's got
first
Gronk
score.
size.
He does. 6'7", 266.
Marshall takes a knee. Jets will have it at the 25-yard line.
He's got size and pretty good speed, too. It's just a post route, but you see there's no safety in the middle of the field. So Brady, again with time to throw, an outside position by Burris. But the catch is so impressive with Burris right on his back, swiping at the ball with his right hand. A memory that'll last forever.
17 points off of turnovers for New England. Ryan Fitzpatrick in there for the injured Bryce Petty. Left shoulder injury for Petty in this first half. Bilal Powell. He leaps for a yard, met by Shea McClellan. You know, let me take the other side for a moment on the Hackenberg situation. Could it damage him psychologically playing in a game at this stage against a New England Patriots defense where it has damage down the road? Is that something that even enters the equation from your viewpoint?
Well, you have to have experience in failure as much as experience in success, and part of a quarterback's makeup is how do you handle the rough times. And as a rookie, you're going to have a lot of rough times. It doesn't matter if you're a first-round pick or a sixth-round pick like Tom Brady. You're going to struggle at sometimes. You've got to have that experience on the field to handle it.
Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights. All coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. 2 minutes to play in this first half. New England 20, the Jets nothing. On first down for Fitzpatrick. Protection holds up initially. Flag is down. And that ball goes through the hands of Quincy Enunwa. Looked like Powell was there for a hold for New York.
Malcolm Butler coming from his cornerback spot, putting pressure on Fitzpatrick.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense, number 21.
Wow.
5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Well, Butler just said that's on me. And that's the first we've heard from Gene Steratore, first penalty of the day.
Here's Malcolm Butler. He's going to be coming against Fitzpatrick here, working against Powell. And puts that left hand rather. That will draw the penalty.
So a new set of downs for the Jets now at the 42-yard line. Fitzpatrick trying to get rid of it quickly. And nobody there. Shea McClellan put the pressure on Ryan Fitzpatrick. McClellan's been an interesting story for New England. He has had an expanded role as the weeks have moved on. They've moved him off the line of scrimmage, gotten him back into the linebacker spot that he grew accustomed to as one of the leaders of the Chicago Bears. And the versatility that Matt Patricia has, interchangeable pieces on defense. He said McClellan has gotten the terminology down, and he's really fit in nicely.
That's a real trademark of this Patriot defense is versatility in their linebackers.
2nd and 10, Fitzpatrick. Slapped away by Logan Ryan, another Rutgers product on this New England roster.
You can see Fitzpatrick looking all the way to his left side, and there's Logan making a break on the pass intended for Peak. It's curious that the Jets have yet to target Quincy Enunwa. Came into the game with 52 catches and 4 scores, and has yet to see a ball his way.
Well, Fitzpatrick was looking for him on that Butler penalty. They obviously got the yards after the hands to the face from Butler. 3rd and 10. Fitzpatrick fires, popped up, juggled, dropped. Jerron Peak had a couple of chances at it in these wet conditions.
Well, if he can catch this last bounce, he should have caught the first one. He scores right here, just can't quite get to it. But this is a drop pass. Right on target from Fitzpatrick. And Peak lets one get away twice.
With 1:40 to play in the second quarter, Lachlan Edwards punting to Julian Edelman. High punt. Edelman settles under it. Flag on the play as Edelman gets hit hard on special teams. Devin Smith down there. Rontez Miles, 49-yard punt and a 4-yard return. Gene Steratore is checking on the Jet sideline.
Offside. Defense, number 46. Penalty is declined. First down, New England.
The Jets are going to just keep it where it is as New England is pinned deep in its own territory. Devlin, the guilty party. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB and the gang back in New York. Latest NFL scores and highlights. All coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Patriots currently holding down the top spot in the AFC. A win today and an Oakland loss to Indianapolis, and they will clinch home field advantage. 8 straight division titles. They've won 14 of the last 16 AFC East crowns. They're in the playoffs for the 8th consecutive year, the second longest streak in NFL history. Dion Lewis, buster screen, brings down Lewis after the gain of 3. The longest playoff streaks in NFL history, Dallas Cowboys from 1975 to 1983, and the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning from 2002 to 2010. The Patriots have won 13 or more games 5 times in the Belichick-Brady era. A victory today brings them to 13 wins on the season. Handoff to Lewis going up the gut for 3.
And it appears, looking at the last 2 handoffs to Lewis, that the Patriots are satisfied with this 20-point lead. Maybe they just want to get in out of the rain.
Jets take a timeout. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Timing was off early last week against Denver. Patriots won the game 16-3. Today, 11 of 19, 137 yards and a couple of touchdowns, getting the tight ends involved. This is a 3rd and 4 now with 45 seconds to go in the half. Brady. He hits his man, Julian Edelman, and he's marked down short of the 30-yard line. We're down to 36 seconds left. And a timeout called. Taken by New England. We're coming right back. 38 seconds left in the second quarter with New England in front 20-0.
4 down.
Michael
Hey, 52
Floyd.
down. Yeah. Lion.
We saw him just once so far. Was not active last week, active this week. Brady going for it all on the deep ball. Mitchell got his hand on it. And a flag is down at the 28-yard line.
Now this is going to be pass interference against the Jets, and that might have saved the touchdown because Mitchell was separating from 2 Jet defenders trying to track that ball down.
Burris and Middleton.
Pass interference. Number 36. Spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
You can see Mitchell now trying to get beyond the grab there of Middleton. That left hand draws the flag, and if he doesn't do that, this is going to be a long reception for the Patriots.
And Dan, New England was ready to go to the locker room, up 20-0. The Jets take a timeout, and Bill Belichick, I'm sure, on that New England sideline, thought to himself, all right, you want to stop the clock?
Yeah, I got Tom Brady, and I'm going to throw it deep. That penalty worth 47 yards.
Brady hooks one. End zone, caught by White. Touchdown, Patriots. And New England is pouring it on.
Yeah, the Jets did the Patriots a favor by calling a timeout. Singled up on the outside is James White. He gets beyond the linebacker, David Harris. The ball again on target from Brady. Touchdown pass number 453 for the future Hall of Famer.
And he's also inching closer to Dan Marino on the 4th all-time list for passing yards. Extra point from Gostkowski. Brady came in 270 yards away from Marino. He's got 171 on the day and 3 touchdowns. New England Patriots at 12-2. By the end of today, they could be the number 1 seed in the AFC and set up for home field advantage throughout the conference portion of the playoffs. They are dominating the Jets. 218 yards of offense. They've held New York to 86. They've knocked the starting quarterback out. Todd Bowles was a question mark to coach today after being admitted to the hospital yesterday. Left the team facility, and after being cleared by doctors, flew to New England earlier this morning. Quincy Enunwa back there to return it, didn't catch it cleanly, and it's a touchback.
Well, this is a quarterback's dream, is to have your running back going to the corner here and then being defended by an inside linebacker. But interesting down here, Mitchell is going to run into these 2 defensive backs who can't quite get over. Screen gets picked right there, but the ball would have been thrown away from him anyway, right over the shoulder of David Harris.
And just a reminder that New England gets the football to start the second half after winning the toss and deferring. Bilal Powell comes up short of the 30-yard line. That's 3 yards. Jabal Sheard in on the stop for New England. And we're down to 12 seconds left. Jets are not going to snap it. And that'll be the final play of this first half. Patriots taking care of business. They've got a 27-0 lead over the New York Jets. A division that has been owned by the Pats. Halftime. in Foxborough. It's 27-0 Patriots. We'll come back. Verizon Halftime Report is coming up after this message and a word from your local station. It's Week 16 in the NFL, and you're watching the NFL on CBS. Petty's pass knocked up in the air, intercepted. Brady fires, end zone. It's caught by Bennett. Touchdown, New England. Get ready for second half action. Happy holidays, everybody. New England in front, 27-0 on the New York Jets. Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn on the sidelines. A year ago, these two teams met, Week 16. The difference there, New England, similar to this year, had a chance to get the number 1 seed, but the Jets were still in the playoff chase. The Jets got the win in overtime, couldn't get it done against Buffalo final week of the season. New England remembers what happened, and they are not taking any chances this year.
Well, that big thing about football in New England starts after Thanksgiving, and the way that they've been able to refocus this football team and then get major contributions from some unlikely spots. But when you still got the quarterback, I don't care what month it is, what year it is, Tom Brady is just a fabulous quarterback, and he showed it today. And that offensive line, the job they're doing protecting him has been phenomenal. He's been hit the turf just one time in that first half and thrown 3 touchdown passes.
You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Patriots will have the football to start this second half. Deep man is White. And Nick Folk will kick it off for New York. Jets held to 89 total yards in that first half. Bryce Petty went out with a left shoulder injury. So Ryan Fitzpatrick once again in at quarterback. Christian Hackenberg is inactive for the 15th time this season. White takes a knee. Patriots get it at the 25-yard line, and we send it downstairs to Evan Washburn.
Well, and let's start with the Jets. I spoke with Todd Bowles after that brutal first half, and at no point did he question his team's effort. It was more about situational mistakes by young players in positions where they're still trying to figure things out. But again, not questioning the effort at all, Todd Bowles was. As for Bill Belichick, Dan, I asked him about the offensive line. It was a funny exchange. He kind of looked at me and said, well, we need to run the ball a lot better. So I think he likes to pass blocking, but the run blocking needs to get better.
And that was a big theme in the meetings from Josh McDaniels as well. The continuity compared to last year. Brady, first down floater, and screen cut off the angle for Chris Hogan. And it's incomplete. The numbers, well, it's all New England. 218 total yards. They didn't turn it over. They forced 3 turnovers. They got into the red zone. They took advantage of it. And they've got a 27-0 lead. Largest lead at the half this season for New England. Josh McDaniels, his name's going to come up with openings around the NFL. And rightfully so. He's done a masterful job with this offense. Dion Lewis. The acceleration by Lewis, 9-yard pickup, just short of the first down. Pryor and Miles collaborate on the hit.
Right here, watch Tooney and Andrews as they're going to open up this hole for Dion Lewis, and watch how quickly the burst is to get to the second level and right to Miles. Watch him cover up here as the Jets trying to force some type of turnover. Heads up by Lewis to cover up.
And a 3rd and 1. Bennett really takes pride in his run blocking and his pass protection. Complete tight end. He's working on that right side. And LeGarrette Blount has enough. Needed a yard, got 2. Out across the 35-yard line. And a joke exchange between Blount and Lee.
And Evan Washburn said that Bill Belichick was not happy with the running game in the first half. Well, I'm sure we'll see a lot of it here in the second half, but the Patriots only gained 2.9 yards per rush in that first half, and Bill's a perfectionist. He wants everything to be good, and it has been for a long time.
We asked him about all the versatility on offense, and he said, you only have one ball. As long as you get it into the hands of someone that can do something with it, that's all that matters. Brady cannot get it into the hands of Malcolm Mitchell, and there's a flag down back at the 28-yard line in the area of holding.
Our umpire, Bill Schuster, threw the flag. Hands to the face is the sign from Gene Steratore.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, offense, number 60. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
It's David Andrews. The Jets are working on Leonard Williams along the Jets sideline. Andrews called on the penalty there on the rush by Dion Simon. And that is Williams, talented second-year defensive lineman from USC. Patting the ball, Brady, low throw. Edelman adjusts, but cannot bring it in cleanly. And Edelman has some choice words for the officials.
Let's see this ball coming in low from Brady as the Jets are getting better pressure on Brady here in the second half, but the tip of the ball just hit the ground before Edelman could control it.
Edelman just saw a look at the replay. And Williams on his back. Training staff is working right now on Leonard Williams. Brady on a 2nd and 20. It's a dump off for White and a spin move. Brought down by David Harris of New York for no gain on the play. Just underway, third quarter in Foxborough, and the sun has come out. It was pouring at one point. Slowed down at the tail end of that first half, and look at the blue sky just in time for Christmas. Williams is up on his feet. Had a chance to talk to Leonard Williams. Didn't get the Pro Bowl nod. Versatility has been such an asset in his career. May have worked against him. He was listed as an end, not as an interior lineman. Through traffic, James White brought down just across the 40-yard line by Rontez Miles, and it's fourth down for New England after the 14-yard run.
Well, White does a good job of getting in behind his guard, Joe Thuney, right here as he'll come right up the field on the pull. A draw play, but nice job of getting right in behind Thuney, and there Chris Hogan gets involved down the field as well.
So it's Ryan Allen averaging 44.4 yards per punt. Nick Marshall is deep. And a fair catch called for with some special teams activity off to the side. 43-yard punt. Fitzpatrick and the Jets offense on the field when we return. Well, for New England, this is what's on the line. Chance to get home field advantage in the AFC. A victory here and an Oakland loss, or a tie here and an Oakland loss. I'm not sure they're thinking about ties here. Bilal Powell, maybe the tie that you wore with all the ducks on it, Dan. Very impressive.
They're in a row.
An ode to Oregon. Bilal Powell is hit by Alan Branch on the play.
It really is time to get rid of the tie in the NFL, don't you think?
You think so? What, for the on cameras? Oh, you mean in the game? I'm sorry. You wanted to go for a more casual look.
Well, I wouldn't mind that either. But
yeah, you're not really a tie guy on a number of levels.
Unless it's a Mai Tai.
That's a very good point. I've seen that on display. 2nd and 6. Fitzpatrick operating out of the gun. Off the hands of Brandon Bostic. Let's check in with Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, guys, we saw Leonard Williams being worked on by athletic trainers and team doctors. They seem to be looking at his chest. They're actually getting his heart rate. He's got a stethoscope on his chest right now. He's been looking like he's improving and wants to get back out there. I think they're just being as careful as possible. Update on Bryce Petty. He's been downgraded to out with that left shoulder injury. Also, Austin Seferian-Jenkins is out. And remember, guys, emergency quarterback for the Jets, Bilal Powell, if it gets to that.
That's right, Christian Hackenberg inactive, so it would be Powell if something happens to Fitzpatrick. 3rd and 6. Deep ball, Fitzpatrick. Looking downfield, Robbie Anderson, the speedster, out of Temple, cannot catch up to it. And the Jets go 3 and out. Eric Rowe was with them defensively for New England.
Fitzpatrick now 3 out of 10 for 34 yards. He did have a couple of passes dropped, including a potential touchdown. Safarian Jenkins not be able to grab the ball crossing the goal line.
Cyrus Jones is the return man. Jones has been in and out of the doghouse all season for New England. Jones, the rookie out of Alabama. The punt from Edwards. Jones moves forward. It's returnable from the 33. And a hit along the sideline out across the 35-yard line. 45-yard punt. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Mobile Strike. Download and play now free from the App Store. And by Ram Trucks, America's longest lasting pickups. Oh, bird in the beard. Dan Fouts, Ian Eagle, Statman of the Stars, Dave Freed. Butch Baird, whose Q rating has never been higher. He's been standing next to Vern Lundquist all season for the SEC in the farewell tour. More camera time for Butch. Brady loses the football, and Brady gets it back. The ball did not bounce far enough away for the Jets to grab it. Wilkerson got the hit on Brady.
And the pressure on Brady's been better in the second half. There's Wilkerson getting in for the sack and the forced fumble. Look at this effort, though, by Brady with one hand to spin it back to his body. He's fumbled 5 times now this season, but has yet to lose a fumble.
Patriots quarterbacks have 4 giveaways this season, the fewest in the NFL. By comparison, the Jets have 26 at the quarterback position. Deion Lewis for 3. Calvin Pryor will get credit for the tackle.
You know, with the pressure that the Jets have been able to get on Brady in the second half, it makes you wonder, maybe it's time for Jimmy Garoppolo to get some action. Brady dealing with some injuries this year. Sore thigh, bad knee. Told us about an ankle yesterday. I think he was kidding me.
I think he was trying to throw you off the scent. Brady spins away. Brady sets up, throws deep downfield, and connects with Edelman. Tom Brady creating for the Patriots. The presence.
That looked a lot like Fran Tarkenton there, didn't he? Watch Brady after the fake to White. There's the pressure that forces him out of the pocket, and then he knows where he's safest, back in the pocket. And Edelman bails him out deep down the field.
5 catches, 89 yards for Edelman.
90 on the year now for Edelman.
And the Jets will take a timeout. Flag was thrown behind the Jets defense at the 22.
Too many men on the field for the Jets.
Anthony Johnson was trying to get off, former member of the Patriots practice squad. Todd Bowles waiting to see if his team will be penalized. This is a long discussion. There has not been a whole lot to talk about for the officiating crew.
There definitely was 12 out there.
Defense 12 men. The snap was imminent before the timeout was called. Therefore, the penalty for 12-men defense will be enforced. It's a 5-yard penalty, first down. The New York Jets are not charged with the timeout.
Well, that was quick, Dan. Excellent. 12. 12 dashes leads to a penalty.
Yeah, well, it's that time of year, you know, Dasher, Dancer, Blitzen.
Fair point. Rudolph?
319!
Ian.
No, he wasn't a reindeer. Ian. Handoff to Blunt. And he is stood up out across the 35-yard line. For Todd Bowles, the decision to travel here this morning to be with his team, obviously got the clearance of the doctors to do so after spending the night in the hospital. The heat has certainly gone up a couple of notches regarding Bowles and his future. He signed to a 4-year contract. This is his second year as head coach. Questions as to whether or not the Jets will go in a different direction. Handoff to Blunt. And Blunt hit immediately by Leonard Williams. You know, the questions that I had at this stage of the season, ownership may have already decided, hey, Bowles is coming back, McCagnon's coming back. The only thing that can change your mind is if you get embarrassed by divisional foes in back-to-back weeks. It happened already against Miami last week. They've got New England today. They're down 27-0. They've got Buffalo on the schedule next week with Rex Ryan returning to MetLife.
Yeah.
Things can change in this league, as we know.
Well, the key part there, you talked about embarrassing losses to your division opponents.
James White with the catch. And White has a first down, met by the former Patriot Darrelle Revis.
You know, and all teams deal with injuries. It just seems like some teams are just cursed. The Jets lose Eric Decker early in the year, and it really affected the passing game. And they get absolutely nothing out of the tight end position, where every other team that is on the winning side of everything have tight ends that are dominating, that are mismatches on the outside or across the middle. And so the injuries piled up against the Jets. It's been a snowball type of situation, but they just don't have the depth to overcome the injuries that they've suffered.
I don't think anybody expected the Jets to match what they did offensively last year. Brady, great effort by Mitchell. Coming up with that pass from Brady in a matchup with Burris for 8 yards. The issues for the Jets have been, at least the surprising ones, on this side of the ball. They were supposed to be a dominant defense with a dominant front. LeGarrette Blunt, nothing there. So the drop-off for the Jets defensively, Todd Bowles is a defensive coach, calls the signals on defense as the head man. To me, that's been the bigger surprise for New York. Not the fact that they weren't able to match their franchise record-setting numbers from a year ago on offense.
Well, and defensively, they've been good against the run, but it's in the passing game where they get absolutely no pressure on the quarterback. 7 sacks in the first game against Cincinnati, with just 16 since then. They get 17 now with 1 sack on this latest drive.
LeGarrette Blunt picks up the first down.
And when you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, it puts pressure on your secondary. It's interesting today that Brady has stayed away from Darrelle Revis.
He has. And we asked Brady about it, and he said, look, Darrelle Revis is still someone you have to respect. You can throw at him, but you have to remember he's still better than whoever they play on the other side.
Well, and Brady remembers that he's thrown 3 interceptions to Darrelle Revis in his career. First, don't forget those things.
That comes from experience, I guess, Dan. Personal experience?
With a lot of guys, too.
Yeah.
I put a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
But you're there with them, so you feel okay about it.
Yeah, but they still give me the needle, you know?
Do they?
Well, they send me thank you cards, Christmas cards.
Anybody in particular that stands out for you?
I refuse to name any of them.
You're not going to give them any credence.
There's too many.
Second and goal for the Patriots. Already have a 27-0 lead. Blunt in the backfield. He's got 15 touchdowns this season on the ground. Can this be number 16? Blunt. Brought down. LeGarrette Blunt. That second effort almost got him there, and an injured Jet on the play.
Well, he's going to lose a shoe here, too, after this effort.
Sheldon Richardson is down. So is Leonard Williams, who was injured earlier in this quarter. Now it's Richardson laid out on his back with 4:29 to play in the third. Richardson got up on his own and worked his way to the Jets sideline. Are now working on his lower back. Deion Simon is in. Wilkerson, Simon, and Williams up front. Third and goal for New England. Lewis goes in motion now, sets up just to the side of Brady. Brady steps. Brady is sacked. Could not break away from David Harris. Took a little too long with a penalty marker down.
And it's in the end zone.
Holding. Defense, number 24. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
And it's Tom's old friend, Darrelle Revis.
Yeah, it's Hogan trying to work his way back to the middle of the field, and Revis almost tackles him.
LeGarrette Blount did not get there. The Jets stop him with a rookie, Jordan Jenkins, leading the charge. Revis in run support.
A good job here by Revis as he takes on Blount and pulls him away from the goal line.
Devlin sets up in front of Blount. LeGarrette Blount takes it in for the touchdown. Number 16 for LeGarrette Blount. What a season he's put together on the ground for the Patriots.
A real good get off by the offensive line of the Patriots, getting in behind Devlin and making Calvin Pryor miss, and that leads to a walk-in touchdown. Devlin with a big block that time on Harris, and all the Jets standing up watching Blount go right by him.
Time consuming, 7 minutes, 40 seconds. They started on their own 37, and they get pay dirt with Blount. Extra point, Gostkowski. Well, we know that New England is number 1 in fewest points allowed. They haven't given up a point here today, but they're putting a lot of points on the board. They lead it 34-0 on Christmas Eve. Tomorrow, a holiday gift from 60 Minutes, a front row seat to the Broadway hit, Hamilton. That's tomorrow only, CBS. Gostkowski kicks it off. Once again, it's Nick Marshall who's going to take it out of the end zone for New York. Marshall along the sideline. He's tripped up. On Monday, the New York Jets hosted a shopping spree for 25 students. Each child received a $250 gift card and had the opportunity to meet current Jets players. The students were selected based on their performance in the Jets Play 60 Challenge. Headed out to Modell's. $250 spending spree. 3:17 to go in the third quarter. Ryan Fitzpatrick is in there at quarterback. Bryce Petty was knocked out in the first half with a left shoulder injury. And we're going to get a re-kick. Offsides. The call on Brandon King. So the Jets will look for better field position. And the Patriots will have to do it again. Joe Judge sends his special team unit back onto the field. The last 7 meetings between the Jets and the Patriots were decided by 7 points or less. Not this one. 34-0, New England in front of Todd Bowles and the New York Jets. Patriots 5-2 at home, losses to Buffalo and Seattle, but undefeated on the road. Marshall again, loses it, scoops it up, and in trouble. So even that decision backfires. Brandon King. They lost 13 yards from the previous spot to where they will take over now after the re-kick.
And it was a great kickoff by Gostkowski. Look, he's pinning Marshall to the sideline. And if he catches the ball cleanly, he's not going to get past the 15, 20-yard line because of that pursuit and coverage by the Patriots.
Just over 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Kyrie Robinson is in, the former New Orleans Saint. Movement on this makeshift offensive line for New York. Gene Steratore,
False
Rye
start.
Smile.
Offense, everyone but the center.
There you go.
5-yard penalty, first down.
That's why he was chuckling.
Well, that's what got Bryce Petty hurt against Miami. That exact same thing. Although in that time, it was the center, Johnson, who snapped the ball and nobody moved.
Wesley Johnson left a bin of chocolate chip cookies on Bryce Petty's car to say he's sorry. I'm not sure that quite compensates for the mistake from last week, but it's a good start.
Kyrie Robinson ought to be giving him some cookies too for that fumble that caused Petty to make a tackle. First catch of the day for Marshall.
Brandon Marshall with the grab for New York.
Actually, the first catch of the second half. It's a hook route. Good job of getting his head around. Good timing with him and Fitzpatrick. But you'd expect the Patriots to loosen up that pass coverage just a touch. A lot of too deep shell now for the Patriots.
Brandon Marshall in his 11th year in the NFL. He has never made the playoffs. Kyrie Robinson on the cut to the 30, 4-yard gain. Robinson is a bit overzealous. He's just excited to be out there because of that leg injury that he suffered in the preseason. He was released by the Jets. Jets picked him up, and that could be a seed being planted for the future, as they are high on Robinson. They wanted to make sure they had his rights for next year as they locked him into a second year on the contract.
And remember, Powell was injured in that first half, so we're seeing Robinson a lot more here in the second.
Eric Tomlinson, the tight end, in motion. Robinson on a spin. Robinson determined as he picks up 5 yards on the play. Landon Roberts, the rookie out of Houston, will get credit for the tackle. Kyrie Robinson out of West Texas A&M. Undrafted free agent. And Brandon Marshall's not 100%. Marshall has been dealing with a shoulder issue, a back problem, and that appears to be what they're looking at right now. Lower back of Marshall. Motion man Enunwa does not have a catch, but he does have a carry, and he's got a first down. Quincy Enunwa out near midfield. McCourty and Ryan there defensively for New England. It's a 12-yard run for Enunwa.
Well, here comes Enunwa. Good timing between him and the quarterback, Fitzpatrick, on the handoff. You can see Fitzpatrick eyeing him all the way. And then the block out in front, Tomlinson doing a good job.
Just comparing numbers right now. The Jets have 4 completions. They also have 4 punts. It's rare that you see those numbers equal. Knocked up in the air, and Butler's got it for New England. Malcolm Butler slowed down, and a flag. Another Jets turnover.
And on the return, he had his face mask grabbed. That's why we had the flag thrown. Malcolm Butler was perhaps the most famous interception in Super Bowl history. Right up there with James Harrison's 100-yard return.
It was Brandon Shell who got him on the face mask.
Following the interception, personal foul, face mask, original offense, number 74. 15-yard penalty, first down, New England.
Well, 74 is Nick Mangold. He's on IR. 72 is Brandon Shell, and that's who the guilty party is.
The ball right through the hands of Enunwa. That's 3 passes that the Jets have let go through their hands. This one comes back the other way.
And a new quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. Handoff to Blunt. Oh, hard hit, LeGarrette Blunt, and some friendly fire there as well with Calvin Pryor and Jordan Jenkins. That'll do it for this third quarter. Tom Brady's day is done. 17 of 27, 214 yards, 3 touchdowns for Brady. Now 25 touchdowns and 2 interceptions on the season. We go to the fourth. 34-0 Patriots, the NFL on CBS. New England Patriots not only the success that the Kraft family has overseen. This stadium, One Patriot Place, Gillette Stadium, which opened back in 2002, it's a party every single week for these fans. When you dominate at home the way that this team has, the expectation level when you show up is wins and more wins and then another win.
And they showed up today on a miserable start to this day with the rain.
First play of the fourth quarter, Dion Lewis showing off his escapability. Picks up 3 yards on the play. Jordan Jenkins will get credit in the box score for the tackle. 3rd and 1 now for the Patriots. 34-0 New England. It's been a whitewash in Foxborough. First down run for Lewis. The Patriots have finished number 1 in scoring defense just once under Bill Belichick. That was 2003. They won the Super Bowl that year. They beat Carolina 32-29. They have given up no points today against the Jets here in Week 16. Lingle, the motion man. Lewis. He got hit down low, and the Jets stop him from gaining any more yards with Dion Simon. Limited to a 2-yard gain for Lewis. He'll now trot off for New England, and they'll make some changes. Jimmy Garoppolo played well when Tom Brady was suspended the first 4 games. It was Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett. Garoppolo suffered a shoulder injury, and Brissett ended up getting the nod for a couple of games. The loss to Buffalo, and Brissett hurt his thumb. He was just activated off IR. Play action. Garoppolo. It's incomplete. Chris Hogan underneath. Justin Burris in coverage.
Yeah, it's curious. A lot of talk about potentially trading Garoppolo away.
What would you do?
I would not.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Absolutely not. I mean, he's been in this system now. This is his 3rd year. Has performed well, completing 70% of his passes. And smart guy, performed well at the beginning of the season when a lot of people were thinking that this was a chance for teams to gang up on the Patriots with Brady out with the suspension. But Garoppolo, a capable quarterback, and Tom is nearing 40 years old.
Michael Floyd is in there. Garoppolo looks. Garoppolo throws. It was Floyd, the intended receiver. And a flag down.
Back in the corner of the end zone, we're going to have holding against the Jets.
Second time that's happened in the end zone.
To the pass. Holding. Defense number 32. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
And it's the rookie Burris.
Yeah, working against Chris Hogan. Hogan's going to go to the fade route here. And it gets tripped right there. Did not see the hold.
So 1st and goal now, just inside the 4-yard line for New England. LeGarrette Blount in for the Patriots.
4 down. Hey, we're good. Here we go.
Sets up with James Devlin, the fullback. Handoff. Blount. Takes it just short of the 1-yard line. David Harris with a tackle for New York. 13:15 to play in the 4th.
And right to the line of scrimmage. Smart move here by Garoppolo.
Same alignment. Blount. LeGarrette Blount. The second effort. And didn't get it. The 3rd effort did, but the play was whistled dead. And nope, you're not going to get it, LeGarrette. Combination of Harris and Williams in that crowd for New York.
Patriots bring in an extra offensive lineman, Cameron Fleming. They'll line up a tight end position.
On 3rd and goal, Blount hammers it in for the touchdown. A major rout in Foxborough. At a Kodak moment.
It's just another body blow from the Patriots right to the midsection of the Jets. And another score for LeGarrette Blount. You don't have a camera phone, huh?
Yeah, I went old school there, Dan.
At least you didn't say Polaroid.
That's an option. Those are nice machines.
You may get another chance.
Tom Brady, cheerleader role for New England. And Gostkowski on for the extra point to make it 41-0. A massacre. The Patriots will move to 13-2 and will wait for the Oakland Raiders and Indianapolis Colts. You get a selfie? Yeah, that's a good one. At no point this week did the crew say to one another, hey, let's get dressed up for Christmas. Chris Byram, our cameraman, just took it upon himself, and he bought a moose outfit. I do not believe that's a reindeer.
It is Bullwinkle.
Yes.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Who's going old school now? You thought Kodak was dated. Sunday, January 22nd, 18 people will go on the run from a team of expert hunters. CBS presents the real-life thriller Hunted, premiering Sunday, January 22nd, after the AFC Championship game only. CBS. 4 completions, 4 turnovers, 4 punts today. 12:24 on the clock, matching the date. Handoff to Bilal Powell, who is back in there. Powell held to a 1-yard pickup.
It's been a stellar day for Tom Brady. 17 of 27. Here he hits Bennett for 5-yard touchdown. And then the first catch of Matt Lengel's NFL career goes for a score. And scrambling around, finding Edelman deep down the field. And finally, this beautiful toss to James White for his 3rd touchdown of the day. No interception and sacked just 1 time.
8 different receivers for New England. Fitzpatrick is 4 out of 12. Dumps it off to Powell. A beautiful fake by Powell as Jabal Sheard couldn't get to him. Landon Roberts does. Sent it downstairs to Evan Washburn.
All right, an update on Brandon Marshall. He's dealing with a left hip injury suffered in the previous series offensively for the Jets. He's listed as questionable, but he doesn't look like he's going back in this game, and why would he at this point?
Marshall's last touchdown came against the Patriots on November the 27th, so it's been a long stretch for Marshall not getting into the end zone. 3rd and 1. Powell, no gain. Needed a yard to get to the 35, and he's short.
And you obviously have to go for it.
So it's 4th down, less than a yard. Vincent Valentine made the stop for New England.
And again, it's a question of personnel here. Jets really don't have a fullback. So Powell's got to make the yardage basically on his own from the tailback position.
Had Julian Hauser on the roster. And Tommy Bohannon before that. Never replaced him. Powell, good effort. 1st down for New York. Give him a gain of 2 on the play. Landon Roberts with a tackle. NFL Today update. Send it to New York and James Brown.
I had a tough day for Marcus Mariota in Tennessee, trailing Jacksonville by 15, made worse as Sheldon Day falls in the back of Mariota's right leg. He's got an air cast on, a right ankle injury is how it's being described. Just starting the 4th quarter, play back to Ian Eagle.
Oh boy, Tennessee at 8-6, still in the playoff conversation, and a critical blow. Marcus Mariota carted off with a leg injury. Devin Smith, first catch of the season for Smith, speedster out of Ohio State. 2nd round choice in 2015. Hackenberg was the 2nd round pick in 2016. Again, those are draft picks that are producing for most teams around the NFL. And the Jets have been searching for production from their 2nd rounders the last couple of years. Hackenberg is yet to be in uniform this season. Active for a game. Kyrie Robinson takes it to the 35. That's a 9-yard gain for Robinson.
Robinson running hard, showing a little juice there for the Jets in the running game. So 6 carries for 25 yards with a long run of 10. He got 9 that time.
Dan, the Jets have one player on their offensive line starting in the position that they began the season, and that's James Carpenter at left guard. Mangold done for the year. Winters done. Clady done. Giacomini never got going because of the back injury. Robinson, a crowd of Patriots, and he is engulfed by Kyle Van Noy. It's a loss of 2 on the play. Van Noy was drafted in the 2nd round by Detroit in 2014, a defensive end in college, and getting more and more playing time for Matt Patricia's defensive unit.
Yeah, good job of just mirroring the running back Robinson that time. And when Robinson cut back to the left, it was Van Noy that was able to take his legs out.
Trey Flowers, who has really been a welcome addition this year, just 1 game as a rookie. Fitzpatrick down the field. The readjustment by Anderson, almost came away with the football, but could not. Eric Rowe holding up in coverage once again for the Pats.
Well, Rowe does a good job of forcing Anderson to the sideline. Watch the eyes track the ball, but if he were to make the catch, he would have been out of bounds because of the good coverage and forcing Anderson to the sideline by Rowe.
It's 4th and 3 now for New York. Under 8 minutes to go. 41-0 New England. The worst Jets shutout, 1963. They lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, 48-0. Fitzpatrick, it's complete. Jerome Peak running after the catch, and Peak finally brought down inside the 10 by Eric Rowe.
Yeah, great anticipation on this throw by Fitzpatrick. Getting the ball to Peak before the defense can close the zone, close the window. You can see the linebacker Van Noy just flying by, and then good effort by Peak to get it down to the 10.
27 yards, and the best play of the day for New York. 1st and goal. They spot it at the 10. Patriots trying to keep the Jets off the board. Robinson. Nothing there. No gain for Kyrie Robinson. In fact, they'll back it up half a yard. Number 2 pencil has done its job for Matt Patricia.
And Matt Patricia, as Robinson limps off the field, Matt Patricia is what Santa Claus used to look like when he was in his 30s.
Yeah. If he got a dye job, he could make some extra cash on the side at various malls in the New England area.
He says that some of them are coming in naturally.
Yes, well, that'll do that, coaching.
I know.
Brandon Wilds is in at running back. Fitzpatrick, and it's through the hands of Enunwa, and it's 3rd and goal for New York.
Well, we've seen this too often for the Jets today. Tough catch, but yet a catchable ball for an NFL receiver. Last time one went off in Nunwa's hands, it was picked off.
3rd and goal for the Jets, trailing 41-0. Enunwa does not have a catch today. Fitzpatrick pulls the trigger. End zone. Incomplete. The ball played Devin Smith. Eric Rowe in the area for New England.
Well, Smith is going to go to the corner, 19 against 25 Rowe. But Rowe might have got a finger on that. But again, it goes right through the hands of the Jets. I think it was tipped just slightly by Rowe.
And Dan, they will kick a field goal to avoid the shutout.
Now, I disagree with this decision wholeheartedly. Just sends a horrible message to your team, to your offense.
It's a 29-yard attempt for Folk, who missed one earlier.
I mean, 3 points, really? You'd rather go down fighting, going for a touchdown.
Does it change the optic? That you didn't get shut out? 41-3, New England. Week 16 continues later today on Fox, then tonight on NFL Network, and tune in tomorrow. Christmas Day doubleheader on NFL Network and NBC. Celebration in New England. Final home game because the Pats will be at Miami in the regular season. Of course, New England will host playoff games, plural, especially if they lock down that number 1 seed. Touchback, 41-3, Patriots. Thought your fantasy season was over? It's not. Sign up free and you can win a trip to Super Bowl 52. Join today at NFL.com/playoff challenge. Dion Lewis gets the call. To the outside, Lewis slammed down by Darren Lee. We will hit the 6-minute mark of this fourth quarter. The Jets get their first points of the day on a field goal after electing not to go for it on 4th down. Tom Brady finished the afternoon with 3 touchdowns, adding to his total, now 25 on the year, compared to just 2 interceptions. He is nearly 3-to-1 in touchdown to interception ratio in his career. Garoppolo to Michael Floyd. His first catch as a Patriot, claimed off waivers from Arizona. NFL Today update. Let's go to New York. JB, Bart Scott.
Speaking of Patriots, ex-Patriot Matt Castle.
In relief for Marcus Mariota, 6'8" for 51 yards. He trims the lead as he finds Delaney Walker for the 14-yard touchdown. Jacksonville up 25-17.
As Bart says, trimming the lead with 8:37 left in regulation. Back to Ian Eagle.
All right, JB. I'm sure you'll keep us updated on that one. This one has been over for a while, with Dion Lewis getting the call. Michael Floyd getting an opportunity here with New England. That means every team passed on him in the waiver process. The Patriots did not. After the embarrassing arrest, the video has been released. Jonathan Kraft was asked about it, the president of the Patriots, on the pregame radio interview today, and quote, he said he hadn't seen it. The video wasn't public. There are hypotheticals that you didn't have at the time. A decision was made at the time with the variables that were known at the time. Talked about it last week with Bill Belichick, made the decision that he thought was best for the football team. As we know, if you have talent in this league, you will get multiple chances.
And with Danny Amendola out of the lineup with injury, there is a void.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Fruit of the Loom. Keep your cool in breathable underwear. Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Honda, hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days. And by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost. Dueling Santas. It's been a festive holiday for the New England Patriots. 41-3, they lead the Jets. 195 yards of offense. That's it for New York. On a give to Wilds. He's the rookie out of South Carolina. Elevated from the practice squad. Might remember the name when Marcus Lattimore went down with an injury at South Carolina, that gruesome injury. It was Wilds who stepped in back in 2011.
That was just his 3rd carry of the season. That was a good one for 6 yards.
2nd and 4 for New York. Jets will wrap things up at home against Buffalo. 1 year removed from finishing 10-6, falling just short of the playoffs. Wilds very close to a first down. He's right at the line to gain. Rob Ninkovich in there along with Landon Roberts. Patriots playing without Dante Hightower, sitting with a knee injury. And the other part of the equation, you get the number 1 seed, wrap it up this week. Now you can rest some guys next week against Miami.
And everybody needs rest at this time of year. There's not one of these players on the field that hasn't had to deal with some type of injury, some type of bump or bruise that could use that time off.
So you get week 17 and you get the first round bye in the playoffs. A player like Martellus Bennett could use it. Quincy Enunwa from Fitzpatrick into New England territory with 2:40 to play. Deron Harmon angled him out, 31-yard hookup. And the first catch of the afternoon for Enunwa. You know, I think back to 2007, the Jets went 10-6 that year under Eric Mangini, and they followed it up with a 4-12 season in 2008. And Brett Favre came on board. They went 9-7, and Mangini lost his job. Looked like they were going to be a playoff team. They didn't qualify. Brandon Wilds tripped up as he crossed the 35-yard line, and the Jets in jeopardy of having the same thing happen to them from one season to the next. How quickly things change in the NFL. Double-digit wins last year, and a dispiriting 2016 for this franchise.
And really, the loss to Buffalo last year, Ryan Fitzpatrick picked the worst time to have his worst game.
Still had a chance down the stretch, tried to force it in there to Decker in the left corner of the end zone. It was intercepted, and that ended the Jets season. We hit the 2-minute warning in Foxborough, 41-3. It's an annihilation. Coming up, Subway postgame show. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher, latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway postgame show. 3rd and 6 for the Jets, final 2 minutes in Foxborough. Fitzpatrick, 8 of 19, 136 yards, 2 interceptions. Incomplete. Enunwa, the intended target. Worst losses against New England in Jets history. 1979, a 53-point differential, 56-3 loss at New England. 2010, 45-3. In 2002, 37-point differential. Today, it's a 38-point disparity. 4th down for New York. Fitzpatrick puts it upstairs and could not complete the catch. Devin Smith had it, but couldn't control it throughout, and the Jets handed over on downs. Patriots take over with 1:50 left to play here in the 4th. The executive producers of the NFL on CBS, Sean McManus and Harold Bryant. President of CBS Sports is David Burson. Today's game produced by Mark Wolf, directed by Bob Fishman. Vice President of Remote Production of CBS Sports, Steve Karasik. Coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS, Lance Barrow. Vice President of Studio Production of CBS Sports, Tyler Hale. NFL Today produced by Drew Kaliski, Director Bob Matina. Creative Director of CBS Sports, Pete Radovich Jr. Associate Directors of today's game, Bill Thayer, Steve Murphy. Broadcast Associates, Justin Haley and Kid J. Theano. Technical Manager is Rick Godwin. Technical Director, Terry Rozich. Audio Supervisor, Kevin Little. The rest of our outstanding crew. Staff provided by David Freed and Wayne Richardson. Spotter today, Butch Baird. And happy holidays to everyone. New England will get a day off tomorrow on Christmas. They improved to 13-2 on the season. And they'll keep an eye on the scoreboard to see if Indianapolis can knock off Oakland, and that would put New England in the #1 spot in the AFC playoff picture. Lock it down for home field advantage. Subway postgame show is coming up. JB and the rest of the crew in New York. Latest scores and highlights on the Subway postgame show. Final 40 seconds at Gillette Stadium.
And a happy holiday to you and yours, partner.
You as well, Dan.
Another great season working alongside the Bird.
Are you not going to be there next week?
I'll be there.
Oh, you will?
You think it'll be Miami, maybe?
I don't know. Remains to be seen. A blowout in Foxborough. The Patriots take care of business and defeat the Jets 41-3. New England is 13-2. The number 1 seed is within reach for the Pats. Final score at Gillette, 41-3 Patriots. For Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn, the rest of our NFL on CBS crew, Ian Eagle saying so long from Foxborough. Subway postgame show is coming up. We'll take you to New York after this.